Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to make the earth buckets. I thought of shooting this video instead of doing it live because you will get the quality better perceived at your end. So I just want to show you where we start with. These are just simply two buckets, 20-liter buckets, and they're available from the market. Mostly they are found to hold grease or paint, and we're just recycling them. So as you can see, it settles inside the first one, which is below. It settles in almost three-quarters of the way in. So this portion is left out, and that portion is the amount of space that is left below here. So that amount of space is the one which is going to hold the water and is going to allow the air to circulate in. So what is in this earth bucket? So in this earth bucket, let's just go for the bucket which is below. This bucket has nothing much into it, it's just a normal bucket, except for one thing, one small teeny tiny hole is made at this point here. So this is the gap that I showed you between these two buckets. So this height is basically offset, and that height a little bit lower than that height. That height is somewhere here. So a little bit lower than that height, we are making a small hole. Now this is the overflow hole. This is where the water, excess water from this bucket will leave this, and it will pour outside onto the floor. So every time you fill this bucket with water and it's excess in amount, it just goes out from here. And then there is this area which is left open, which has the air. So now what happens is the air circulates from within, from below, using the second bucket which has a lot of holes. So these holes were made by this kind of drill bit. You can see what kind of the number of holes that I had to make this perfect earth bucket. So these holes allow the earth bucket to breathe and for the roots to get the enough amount of nitrogen that it needs and the bacteria to work on that. So the air actually travels from all the surroundings. Since this is not sealed, the air can travel from here, and then the air can travel from the small hole which is here, and this air is keeping on circulating because of the heat of the day, and then the air goes up into the root systems, and the bacteria, rhizobium bacteria, converting that and converting to nutrients. So what we have got one thing sorted, the air part, and then the water part is also sorted in this bucket by this storing the excess water and not allowing the plant to be sunk in water. So this is very important. The plant will just receive moisture in the form of evaporation that happens, and the evaporated molecules travel from these holes up to the roots and keep on watering the plant automatically. So as I mentioned, you can leave this potted plant. It's not exactly a pot, but the earth bucket. You can leave this earth bucket out for at least 15 days. I have had it left outside for more than that. Nothing happens to the plant. It's evergreen, simply because it's getting all the nutrients that it needs. So apart from that, you need to make a central hole in the second bucket, which is in the middle here, as you can see. So, of course, this is a fancy gadget. It's called a hole saw. Now, you don't need to buy and invest into this kind of things. These are gadgets that get attached to the drill machine. All you can do is simply heat up a pipe, a iron pipe, and just make that hole over there in the center. So that's the simplest way of doing it. In fact, even if the holes that need to make here can be made by heating up a small piece of rod, iron rod, not so thick than this, so about half the diameter of your finger, and that's the amount of diameter that the drill bit is. But most of us have a drill machine and a drill bit, so that's not a big issue. These kind of holes don't need to invest in this kind of hole saws, but basically, yeah, this is how the hole was made. You can use a big iron pipe, heat it up, and make that hole. So, why is this hole made? What is the purpose of this hole? So, what happens is you just take another small plastic bottle or water bottle, you fill it up with silt or sand, that is inorganic material, that is like dead decomposing, not material which is decomposing, but it absorbs water with capillary effect. So that bottle will be left and protruding out here. And what happens is when you put this bucket inside here, that protruding bucket will actually sink itself in the water which is down below in this bucket. So that acts as the now, whenever the water is needed, it by the roots here, if the roots get dry here or it needs water here, automatically that bottle which is holding the sand and the silt, it will absorb the water through the capillary effect, and the water will rise and it will start feeding this place also with extra water when it needs it. So that is the point of this. It's like the main watering part actually happens through here, this from this hole, and that material is held by a water bottle which has of course things that are not decomposing, and of course that bottle will also have holes, otherwise how will the water go inside the soil? So the it's like it has holes, yet the soil is being held in place with a plastic bottle, so you need to take care of that. So this goes in there. Once you have done the holes, this goes like that into each other, and you fill up the place with compost and with organic waste, and fill it up to the brim. And you, at the end of the day, you are just to cover this with a black polythene. I'll show you at the end of the video. That black polythene acts as a protector from weeds and also other insects that might come and sit on the plant, on the root area. And then you just make a slit, a X slit, so the flaps keep on opening from four sides, and you can plant or transplant the tomato plant or whatever that is you can need to transplant. You can transplant it from that flaps, and this is all ready to go. So simple effect, simply made, doesn't take more than half an hour if you are technically if you have the technical tools and everything, and great way of saving your plants from the harshness of the environments, and actually providing it similar effect of what the earth does towards the natural way of growing. Especially we have this on the terrace. It acts as if you have grounded it and planted it on the ground. So yes, we'll continue with the course on the live sessions. Thank you.